my daughter has suggested that I show the equipment that I use. It's not very fancy, although I don't normally dye outside in my garden, unfortunately. Although I have dyed outside and on a bonfire, and that has its charm. But I have some old pots that I bought. The bigger the better. This is the small pot that I normally use for boiling up dye stuff. And then this is my smallest pot for dyeing. The thing about dyeing is that you need lots of water so that the water, that the yarn can really swirl around in the water. And this one takes about 200 to 250 grams of yarn. And then I use old wooden spoons. I obviously don't use any equipment for dyeing that I also use for cooking, because the two, although it's probably not poisonous, then you don't really want to be eating that. And then here I have my cooker, which I found outside, which I found outside on someone's garden wall. It probably was a camping stove, or used in temporary fashion. Anyway, it's excellent for dyeing with. I have 2 hot plates, and that's usually enough. And then I have a couple of these big buckets that are useful for soaking and carrying. And then I have some pieces of copper, it's not, but some sort of plastic, copper coated plastic floristry wire that I use for hanging what I'm dyeing on. Yeah, that's it. We're going to dye with mahonia berries, and I've already prepared some here, but I have a bit more that I'm going to put in. So this is mahonia berries that I have boiled into a soup. And the second boiling is much darker and much redder than the first one. So I pour it into my dye pot without the berries, because I don't want to include them. And it's quite hot at the moment, so I'm going to add a bit of water to cool it down, because it mustn't be too hot in comparison to the yarn. And the yarn that I'm going to dye today is some silk mohair. I've already soaked this, and then I have mordanted it in alum, so it's ready to take the dye. And I have them on these metal hooks, so I only do a set at a time. And this is 150 grams of mohair, and it's soaking wet. It has to be soaking wet. And just going to add a bit more water to this pot to bring the temperature down, so that it isn't too much of a shock for the yarn. That's better. And I'm now going to just add it to the pot. I've got quite a lot of water in here, so that the yarn can swivel about. And now I'm going to leave it in here for about an hour of simmering. Last time I dyed with mahonia, it was a lovely sort of pale purple colour. This time it looks more red, and that's the thing about dyeing, is that you can't always be entirely sure of what results you'll get. It depends a bit on the plant, where it's grown. And this is actually from the dye garden at Brockwell Park. So, as I say, I'm going to leave this now to simmer for an hour, and then we'll come back and see what we get. So now this has been standing overnight, and this is the colour. So it is that sort of purpley colour, purpley lilac-y colour that I was looking for, but we're going to have to see what it's like. See, this is what the colour when the liquid drains out. We'll see what happens here. Actually custom dyeing this for someone, and so let's see what she thinks. Well, anyway, that's it. So I'm going to do another batch because there's still plenty of colour left in the dye lot, in the dye. So it looks like that now. So we'll do another dye, but I'm just going to go and rinse the yarn. My dye material, and I'm going to put it on the compost heap. That's another beautiful thing about natural dyeing, is that when you've finished with it, you can actually just finished with the dye material, you can just put it on the compost heap. And so that's what I'm doing now. My lovely compost heap here. There it goes. And just useful. Right, that's it.